right, people of the internet, the interwebs on the line. My name is Matthew. We are throwing up the first episode of a random stupid idea that we came up with to do an F1 podcast. We're calling it Racing Revelations, The Drive. We may have other terms for it down the road. So I'm going to go down the line here. I'm probably going to be your host, but as of right now, I'm not officially your host.
Yeah, we'll see.
To my right, I've got Isaac. Isaac, how's it going?
Good. How's everybody else doing?
To my left, I've got...
Sam.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
I forgot Sam's name. You know?
I was like, you introduced him.
I just couldn't. And then to Sam's left, I have...
I'm Jackson.
And now it sounds like an Alcoholics Anonymous.
Exactly. That's what we're going for.
So, like I said, this is really just short, stupid idea, but we're going to see how it goes. Fire off some takes about F1. Backstory here is that none of us are really hardcore F1 fans. Like, I would say we're more of a casual fan. I don't really look at tire degradation on a week-to-week basis.
I'm not gonna. If you want to listen to someone talk about tire degradation, this isn't the podcast. Yeah, I would agree.
Not at all.
This is
or preseason testing. There will be
Not
no
to-
preseason
no
testing.
preseason testing.
The only thing you'll see from us in about late January, February is probably F1 streams.
Yes, you'll see F1 streams pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But no preseason testing. Other than preseason testing, maybe new wheels heading into the next season. You know, we gotta test some shit.
So we're recording this the beginning of May. The Miami race just finished. Kind of an underrated track, in my opinion. Jackson likes to shit on, of course, his favorite, the wood and water.
It's a joke.
It's like
It's
an
a joke.
it's an
It's
NBA court.
literally a concrete playground with fake boats.
It literally
set up.
looks like it
It's-
was a bad NBA court design.
Yeah. Like it's like if you ever played like 2K growing up and you could customize your own court. That's what it looks like. They did it
No,
for
that's
F1.
true.
That's what the track looks like. So yeah, not my favorite track, but
Just like F1 if they created it in 09.
exactly.
So, like I said, Miami was this past weekend. Of course, Max. Oh, I'm sorry, Max did not win. Oh, I got so used to saying, "Yeah, Max won, Max won." No, our guy Lando Chando Norris got it done, first dub. I'm gonna throw this to Isaac because he probably watched the least of the race of anybody.
Agreed.
How does it make you feel that Lando won? First of all, give me your thoughts on Lando. Are you a McLaren fan? Are you not a McLaren fan? Do you like British people? Things of that nature.
So we'll start with the British part, get that out of the way. So, as an American, just kidding. British people are awesome, but as a fan of McLaren and a fan of the automotive world, just in general, I think McLaren comes out with a lot of great vehicles in general.
Have seen some cool ones.
720S, the P1, and then Lando kind of being the guy who's slightly in the shadow of everybody else. His name's always subtly mentioned or seen in the background of the camera. Finally pull off a big win. I feel like a big step for his career.
And it was always one of those things too, where it was like, oh, it's not a matter of when, it's a matter of, or it's not a matter.
Loyalty. He could have left. He could have gone to Red Bull
Could
if he
he?
wanted.
Yeah, true.
They
true.
wanted him.
True.
They
Right
tried.
on the Red Bull.
That would have actually fun thought experiment. That would be unstoppable.
I'd be so angry at the world.
But
I don't think
then-
I'd be doing this podcast if that was the case. I'm gonna put it out there now. I hate Red Bull. I hate Max, and I hate Christian Horner. He's a piece of shit.
But do you think he would have gone
The horn
So-
Red
dog.
Bull or Red Bull?
The horn dog.
The horn dog.
Cash App, Visa,
Cash App.
Hilton rewards. What else?
Would he have
Hertz-
cashed in for the travel points?
I would have hoped that he probably would have steered away from RB.
I agree.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna go to my left now to Sam. Sam, are you a fan of Max Verstappen? Some people have said that you look like Max.
Yeah, you do look Dutch.
What does a Dutch person look like? Do they all look like fucking Sid the Sloth?
Look at
And
What the
that's
hell?
Max kinda does. We'll pop a picture up right here and tell you. It's pretty close. It's pretty close.
I like the Dutch. I will say that.
Big
I've never met one, but I don't mind you guys.
Big
But
fi-
you seem like good people.
Big fan of Stroop waffles.
Yeah.
Boat
Is that where they're
rides.
from?
Allegedly, but I think it's more of a
American thing.
yeah. Who could say? So you don't
Max.
like Max?
No.
Or? Okay.
I mean, he's okay. I'll never say I hate somebody, but
okay.
I did. I just
Yeah.
did a few minutes ago.
Jackson just took a club to his
Yeah,
head.
I don't like Max. So, if you see this, I'm not going to apologize to you. I don't care.
Yes, because Max will be
I don't
seeing
think
this.
Max
You
video.
never know.
cares.
I hope 5 years from now Max sees this. It's like, man, that Jackson guy doesn't like
He
me.
just tweets at you.
That's okay. Bring it on, Max.
Bring it on.
I'm
Bring
sure.
the heat.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's gonna be real upset to look back on 10 years and be like,
I
"Oh,
hope
this
so.
guy Jackson."
Yeah, he couldn't win me over as a fan no matter what he tried to do. That's fine.
I'm sure that's what keeps him up at night.
That's fine. All right, back to Miami. Let's talk the track, what we think.
Jackson's a
provided
huge
some-
track guy too.
It's provided some decent races in the past, I think. I don't think it's been anything. I mean, let's be honest. The past few years have been a little bit slow because of Max, so this is a good week for us to start this, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
But,
And they're racing in a parking lot, so
yeah, they do race in the parking lot.
But you gotta admit the track is cool from like the layout and like it's better than
I will say it is fun to race on Formula One, like on the actual game.
yeah. That's
it's
what I'm
fun
saying.
to race.
It's a
And they
good
don't
track.
have any manhole covers that provide issues.
Yeah,
That's a big win for all the drivers
True.
and the
That's
fans.
huge
It
plus.
doesn't delay the race.
it's a good spot in the calendar year, right? The weather's not too hot, but it's also like not like cold Florida.
Yeah, cold Florida.
All the celebs are there because it's Miami. Our boy Rick probably there. Saw no pictures of him, but I know
The
Rick.
boss,
Yeah,
Rick Ross.
I know the boss was there.
He's probably crushing
and
lemon.
Jack. Should have been at the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah,
She should have
exactly.
been racing. But that's okay.
No, going back to the track, the last thing I want to say on it is, although the races in the past couple years have just been Max dominated, like, it's a good track.
It's a cool track.
It's a cool track from the standpoint of like what I was talking about with the stadium and like obviously it's Miami. Do we hate the wooden boards, and the fake boats? For sure. Dude, that was probably the best thing of when this race started, 3 years ago? It was just thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of tweets. Just like, what are we doing, guys?
Yeah, we have fake boats. We're F1.
Like, it
We're
would've-
supposed to be the most. Not for the turtles. fill up the boat area. It'd be good to go. It would have made it way cooler. I don't know why they didn't do that, but
There had to have been some sort of I don't know, safety. I don't know,
I don't know.
if the water, snake
think
on a
they just
plane
cheaped out.
situation.
You think they cheat?
Oh, they went as cheap as possible.
They're just trying to maximize profit.
Oh yeah.
They're pulling
Don't use that
Vegas.
word.
Get
Talk about
more
Max.
races into the U.S.
Never mentioned Max.
Never mentioned Max.
No, but it's a cool track. You got 3 DRS zones.
Yeah.
There's a speed trap at turn 17. I mean, that's kind of as detailed we'll go into the track. I think it makes for good racing. The straightaways are cool, or the one straightaway is cool.
Sector 2 is nice. It's a big, long bend, subtle bend throughout there, so it allows the guys to open it up a little bit and go into turn 10 and 9.
I
with a
genuinely
little bit of
think
aggression.
people would think it's a better track if it wasn't in America.
Oh, 1,000%.
I'm throwing that
Oh,
to
yeah,
you.
1,000%.
Totally agree.
I would prefer this over Track of the Americas, the Texas race. Or
Mm,
Circuit of the Americas, I mean.
Coda. I love Coda.
yeah, I'm gonna disagree, but that's just me. Plus,
Coda's
that's
got
like
that
yeah.
big tower.
Yeah.
They got everything. They go up. They go down.
The elevation
Really?
change there is what's sick.
We go up and down.
It's called,
Don't hate.
it's called elevation.
Whatever.
Elevation. For being adults.
It's
Top
better
seed.
than
Top
Vegas. It's worse than Coda, in my opinion.
I thought Vegas was cool.
I like Vegas. I mean, the whole I don't know.
Manhole
It's-
cover
they,
situation.
They tried
and
to
the whole-
do too flashy in Vegas.
Yes,
I
but
thought the
it's
track
Vegas,
was
it's
actually
never
all
gonna
right.
Yeah,
It provided for some decent racing.
yeah. I was actually, not to go off topic of another race, but I was really surprised that the cold weather wasn't more of an issue for Vegas last year.
I agree.
That's true.
Being at midnight
Yeah,
in
the
November.
Yeah.
desert, in the desert, too.
Yeah.
Like, desert cold.
Shout out to the
Well,
FIA. Never made a good decision before.
I'm hoping that's that's the long-term vision for this podcast. We get to become the FIA.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna say to hate on the FIA.
We've
Oh,
got
that's
I'm
fine,
in.
too.
There's got to be more than 4 people for the FIA though.
Exactly,
there's
four right
there's
here.
got to be 6.
Okay, so we need to find 2 more people.
No, we'll just his dogs.
Oh, then we do have.
There you go.
Easy.
And they can be mascots.
Yeah, exactly.
Same time.
Jackson, do you want to talk about all this that you were telling us about food prices?
Yeah, dude, people were complaining all over the internet about the prices of food, and it was like you get nachos for like, I think it was like $350 or something, like $280. And then it was like you get the corn dog platter.
Bottomless
for
nachos
$300.
for
No, they were they were not bottomless, but everyone was getting salty on the internet. But of course, it's like Barstool and all the big companies are posting it, and it's like, how do we feel about it? But they never mentioned the fact that it was like serving multiple people. So it's like it serves 8 people, and you get a plate of a massive amount of nachos. Granted, yeah, it's stupid high pricing, but it's also F1. I just thought it was funny.
That's
And
like-
social media's gone crazy about it the past few days.
And that's any event you go to.
Yeah.
Like on average, I think it was like it'd be like $30 a person for some nachos. Go to a baseball game. It's
Yeah.
like $22.
Yeah.
It's the exact same.
The
And
prices
it's
at
a beer's 15.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
the prices at all the golf tournaments are terrible.
Oh, they're horrible.
Yeah.
They're stupid expensive for food, beverage, and it's all different vendors, but all of them are there to fuck you up.
Yeah,
They're
Or-
like,
Food's always bad.
let's see how we can
so true.
bend these guys over and take some cash.
Yeah.
After they already spent an ass load of money
Like we went
just
to
to
the
get into
To
the
get
event.
into the
Yeah.
we went to the Cologuard Classic. So if you ever need to, you can drop it in a box, ship it off. They'll tell you if you got something or not.
Yeah, it's-
It was like $20 beers. It was totally worth it.
yeah, it was worth it. The thing is, if you snoop around enough, I don't know about the F1 events with the other ones, you get lucky with the free sample tents. You
Agreed.
bring glasses, you can at least get samples twice. They won't remember you.
That's very
So that's a little tip for the viewers.
Agreed.
Wear a different hat.
Yeah, bring 2 hats.
I think probably where Barstool is coming from is like you just look at imagine looking at a concession board and seeing $350.
That's a great point.
And
That's
it's got
bad.
it has an asterisk, and you're like, oh, I wonder what the asterisk is. And way down at the bottom and tiny, it's like
Yeah.
serves 8 people.
And it's like, all right, I need 8 of the nachos.
You're like really?
Oh.
And
Okay.
that's $2,700 for you. And then they're gonna flip around the iPad. Would you like the tip?
Yeah.
And it's a
Dude.
10%, 20%,
Yeah,
30%.
gotta love a good tipping debate. We're not gonna do that here.
Okay.
You want to go into the past year's races, but I said it's just Max.
Yeah.
I think Leclerc finished 2nd or 3rd last year, but I might be wrong. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I think Miami's provided for good races in the past, but it's like, since it's kind of inception, it's been Leclerc all the way through. I mean, jumping wherever. But
You mean
it's,
Max?
or,
Yeah.
Max all the way
Verstappen.
through. And he's winning by 30 seconds. So hopefully this year provided a change.
Dude,
We'll see if
no.
it affects anything the next few years.
Last year was the year that Alonso finished 3rd.
Yeah, with that super hot start to the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they fell apart in classic
Well,
form.
It wasn't really a hot
Where
start.
was
It
Stroll?
Where do you think?
48th
Last.
place.
It doesn't even show that.
12th.
12.
Yeah.
Dude can't even finish on the points.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
All right, let's just do that. Let's go around. Least favorite driver on the grid, besides Max for you.
Ooh. Besides Max.
We should say that for everybody.
Besides Max.
Yeah, least favorite driver besides Max.
Like current driver?
I'd say, yeah, Fernando Alonso. I don't like.
You don't like Fernando Alonso?
I do not like Alonso.
The Spaniard?
I do not like him.
He's like literally
He's
a
got
legend.
he's got
like
an
an
I don't-
F1
I just don't
legend.
vibe with his attitude. I don't know.
Like
Yeah,
imagine
he's one of the best drivers of all time. I have a lot of respect for the guy, but I just don't personally. He's not one of my favorite drivers. Just don't mess with him.
professionally love the guy.
Yeah.
Recreationally, go.
Hate him.
Yeah.
Don't like him.
Hey,
But that's okay.
Just
That's
kick
different.
rocks.
Big
That's okay.
rocks.
Met him a handful of times, just not. We didn't bond very well.
Met him a handful of times at
Just
In
didn't
your
up the
dreams?
street. What's our favorite burrito place?
What?
Rancheros.
Rancheros. Yeah, exactly.
Met him a handful of times.
Rancheros.
Suggestions. Sam, you go.
Shout out Rancheros.
Agreed.
I think we all know. I hate that Canadian douchebag.
Lance.
I'll just say it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of us like Lance.
His
Strollberg.
dad looks like a mob boss, so he'll probably die.
Oh, it's my turn. Probably Alex Albon. Like legitimately, probably Alex Albon.
I was close to saying him or Ocon.
Why do you guys hate Albon?
Just seems like a great guy. Just doesn't do it for me. Just vanilla.
Vanilla.
That's actually
I
it's
like-
actually a decent way to
I like
describe
Ocon.
him.
I think Ocon's like extremely.
Oh.
No, he's extremely bitchy, but I respect the fact that he came from nothing.
5-second
Yeah.
penalty.
No, a lot of those guys, like,
A lot. 2 people, Lewis and Ocon. No one else came from nothing.
What's Albon?
Okay,
Albon
3
came from
people.
Logan Sargent.
Yeah, turn that around.
For real,
Chris.
Logan Sargent came from a country we've never heard of.
Yeah.
Never played in this or never got in the sport. Crazy. All right, your turn.
So probably gonna get a lot of backlash for it, but Lewis.
Hell yeah.
So
Get some.
I don't like
So-
that take.
So not that like respect the grind that guy put into the sport, like has built a name and a legacy behind his name.
Movie star.
Movie star,
Crazy.
seems like a great guy from everything that I've seen. I'm not as lucky as Jackson and have met a Formula One driver at Rancheros, but
Yeah, a local taco shop in Tucson, Arizona. If you guys are curious.
No, Carniceria.
Carniceria in Tucson, Arizona.
They do.
You
have
You have to roll
tacos.
your R's.
but it's just he got to such a big point, and I feel like fell off so fast.
I don't know if it was.
You mean like his racing?
I
or
go.
like
I go on
just
the train
him?
of like it wasn't necessarily them. It was engine issues with Mercedes.
This
I
is
would agree. I would agree with that,
But-
and I wouldn't. I would also go off of what Sam said. It's not his racing, just his appearance in Formula One. Like personally, like I'm not as in depth of with the technicality of the sport as you two have been assuming in the past, but like social media wise,
like too chirpy on social media.
no, just like when before Max, Lewis was the.
You mean like he's not? Yeah, he's not like
He's
the
not-
face of
Yeah,
F1
he's
right
not the
now.
face of F1.
That's fair.
And I feel like it was big for him and Mercedes as a brand and as building
Team.
a team. And out of nowhere, I feel like I just stopped seeing Lewis.
I will say next year, I think when he goes to Ferrari, I think he'll be the
Agreed.
face of F1 again.
Agreed. I think his
But I get what you're saying. I do kind of agree.
his
with that.
face will come back. His
He'll win.
yeah,
Adrian,
yeah,
is
his
going to
win.
Ferrari.
He'll kind of. I feel like he
Calm.
stopped believing in himself as the guy.
This is
because
true.
of Max. Like Max came in so abruptly, just like, hey, I'm Max Verstappen, and I'm here to stay.
And they're two. This is why I would say Jackson hates Max. They're two different personalities in the aspect of like, I would say Lewis comes across as more respectable, and
Agreed.
Max comes across as more just like I'm here to win and like
Yeah.
Don't give a-
slit throats
Yeah, I
on
don't
the
care.
way out.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah, I don't care.
I'll turn. Like you'll be running away and I'll still shoot you.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, Max is definitely. I mean, if you want to talk about competitors in F1 and you want to talk about competitors in sport in general, he's on the high list there.
And
The
he's
great.
really good.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good.
Like,
And he's in a great car. So
Yeah,
the question
that's the
there is
thing.
like, if he wasn't in that car, how well would he be doing? I still think he'd be doing well because he's a good driver.
That's the two things too. Like we could talk about this for hours, but like that's also kind of the weird, frustrating part about this sport is like you have the car element. Like you have it in other motorsports, but just because of this whole crazy like dramatic ecosystem that Formula One is, like it's like taken to another level. So it's like
Yeah.
hard. It's hard to dissect stuff like as we would like baseball or football or basketball like this because it's just you have that added element of the car
I think, I agree. with
that makes it so difficult. Like you know what
like
I mean?
you throw Max in an Alpine, he
He's-
maybe finishes in the points, maybe.
See, and then you have like someone like
You could-
Valtteri,
Yeah,
who
exactly.
will never finish in the points because the car is terrible.
Yeah, even though he's a great driver.
And he's one of the top 100 drivers of all time, top 50, 100 drivers of all time.
Yeah.
Buy his butt calendar.
I don't know about that.
You don't know about that?
No, I'm saying,
I think you're the
I'm
only
not
one that
promoting
knows.
the butt.
Ah, it was
I
like
forgot you have
Australian.
that
or
at
something.
your house.
I do not have that.
Take
Don't
it
lie.
up,
You don't
no.
have to lie. You don't have to lie.
No.
Wakes up every morning. Good game.
Good race this weekend.
It was buy one get one free.
Oh, that's why you have two.
I was wondering
Can
why
you-
one was in the bathroom.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
It's like, that's fine. That's fine.
Can you
Oh,
imagine
man.
going to the mall where there's all the different calendars
You
and
just
you
see
just
Valtteri's ass.
that would be cool. That should be our first piece of merch.
That should be
Valtteri's
a,
ass? I ain't doing that.
No,
that
no,
should
no,
be
like
our
the
that should be our
calendar.
podcast logo.
No, he could do that.
I don't know. I think that needs to be a group decision.
Yeah.
I think
Whoa,
we just wait
whoa,
for it.
This is getting out of control fast.
Alright.
No, the last thing I wanted to say though, going back to you about Lewis, was for me it's this weird thing because I grew up with like Fernando winning and like it was like a very like you had your teams that were really good. Like it was still separated like it is now. You had like your top teams, your best of the rest, and then like the worst. And then it got to a point where it was like once Mercedes took over and then was just dominating.
Yeah.
To me, it feels the same as how I feel right now about Red Bull because the last couple years of like Mercedes' reign, like when I was kind of getting back into it, shout out Drive to Survive, like everybody else.
Yeah, pushed everyone into it.
I was like, oh, this is sick. Like Red Bull like actually has a chance again, like and all that. And I was like, dude, Max is a bad hombre. Like he doesn't care about Lewis's feelings. And then now it's completely flip flop. I'm like, damn, press F to pay respects for Lewis, man. Like you said, like his more than anything, it just seemed like the confidence.
Yeah.
So that's where I am too. Is breaking all the records. Like you're not rooting for the I don't know. To me, that's not
the
me.
Dominance.
Like I'm not rooting for Max to break any more records because it's just not exciting. Like it doesn't.
And I think that's like.
And I don't think anybody would say that. I'm like even the biggest Max Verstappen fan. They've got to look somebody in the eyes and be like, yeah, like there's only so much more of this I can take. Whereas think of like watching Kobe back in the day, like prime Lakers Celtics. Like you were like, dude, give me all of this.
Yeah. Or
Tiger. If I just only watched the Lakers and the Celtics in a finals game, I would have been cool with that for 10 years back in the day. Seriously.
Yeah.
But I couldn't say that about this because I'm like, ugh.
When it's such like I feel like comes off as like a cockiness of it, which like respect it. Like he's earned the ability to do that, but it comes to a point where it's like now you're pushing fans away from your backing you up because you're being such kind of asshole about it. Like, yeah, Tiger didn't make the best decisions, but like, dude was still
just subtle jab at Tiger. All
right,
we're all Tiger fans.
You can't not like Tiger Woods, but everybody makes bad decisions. But Tiger realized it and changed. From what we can see as fans, obviously.
Who could say?
Yeah, who can say? He could be the same guy,
Yeah.
but
still eats at Perkins.
But Max,
they have great waffles.
phenomenal. But Max just has this like almost ego side to him where it's like overbearing.
Yeah,
it's like we get it. You're the best. Relax.
Yeah.
I will say the only problem with me for Verstappen is like even when Mercedes went on like that 7-year run where they were just unstoppable, you never saw Lewis win 20 of 23 races.
No. Exactly.
No.
And you didn't
there was more competition.
Yeah. Like I think Lewis on his best year won, I don't know if it was like 15 or 16 or something, but still like that's no, like it's brutal.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like you turn on the TV and it's like, oh, Dutch anthem.
Yeah.
I know the Dutch anthem better than I know my own.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
Better than I know the party rock anthem.
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point because it was always like you knew Mercedes was the favorite, but it was like, oh, can Sebastian like sneak Ferrari into like first or second, or is Red Bull gonna have a podium, like, or is their engine gonna explode
There's
four
always
laps?
an option for somebody.
Yeah, that's just not happening right now. No. So I think that's why we're all sitting here like excited to start this on a week that Max Verstappen did not finish first.
Yeah. Honestly, maybe we've been waiting for this. This was the launching point we needed.
It was written in the F1 stars. If
it
you
was.
It's our astrology.
It's our trek to the FIA.
Book it.
Yeah, we're on the way, Michael Massey.
Yeah, we're coming for you.
We're coming for you, Michael Massey.
Can you imagine?
I'm on my way.
Staring into the camera.
It cuts to a scene of like the FBI just breaking down the door.
We're on our way, Michael. Like
Yeah. All right, so Jackson, you gonna introduce our first sponsor?
So we have our first sponsor on the show, and everyone's like, "How the hell did they get a sponsorship for the first episode?" We pulled some strings. We know a few people in the F1 world. Obviously, I've met Fernando in the past. He may not remember it, but I remember it, so that's okay. But our first sponsor is the USA F1 LA. That is the United States of America F1 Limited Fans Association.
Forgot one of the Fs.
It doesn't matter, Sam. They're a low budget company, and it's okay.
They're like
they mean the world to us. It's great for fans. Look them up. Big fan promotion people. But today's episode is proudly sponsored by them.
And we appreciate their support.
We appreciate you, USA F1 FLA. We appreciate you guys. There you go. So moving into the next section, I think there was some cool stuff outside of just like the racing side of it for Miami. I think the upgraded liveries by some of the teams are super cool. Red Bull brought some cool stuff. The Ferrari suits were cool. That Dynaco blue.
I wish
so
Ferrari would have
sick.
done a full blue livery. It
I
would
don't know
look
why they
so
didn't.
nice.
I don't know why they didn't.
There had to have been something where, like, you know how Ferrari is. Like, you wreck a Ferrari, they're like, cool, we're fining you and we're suing you.
Yeah.
So there had to have been something where it's like the car cannot have less than 55% red.
Like the Jordan deal.
Yeah, it's like no, because the Jordan deal has that like you can't have yellow shoe. There's like certain colors. I
Yeah.
think it's green. Like there's some.
Spring. Well, and then it was when they came up with the Jordan. It was the whole like, oh, you have to have.
I'm trying to think of recent, like, within the past 3-4 years. That's probably one of my, like, 3 favorite liveries of all the teams. The Ferrari one, the blue one.
Yeah.
Because even
they need to go
they,
blue on the
they
car.
I know, but they did enough.
Yeah,
But mix it with the kit. I thought it was sick.
it was very. Cool.
I would put that one.
I thought their Vegas livery was money last year.
Yeah, that's a
With the
good
white-
one.
Vegas was really nice.
That's a good one.
That was
I love
nice.
that one.
I used to. This is a hot take, and this is outside of that. I used to think that the old Haas one, when they were sponsored by, it was like the
The gold?
black and gold.
Yeah,
Yes.
what was their name?
That was hard, dude. That was
I can't remember
sick.
what that guy's name was.
It wasn't
What the company's name was.
Wasn't it a sports betting thing?
I thought it was an energy drink.
No, it was an
was.
energy drink.
It was the
Ross.
big guy with the beard.
Big guy.
Was it? It wasn't Rockstar Energy, was it?
No.
I don't know.
That's
we'll
what
figure
I'm
it out.
thinking of,
We'll pop,
gold
we'll pop it up.
Anyways,
But that was a cool livery. I
Yeah.
like that one.
but Rich Energy.
Yeah,
Rich
Rich
Energy.
Energy.
Rich Money Game
Yeah,
Energy.
Hey, but Rich Energy, if you want to sponsor anything, get back in the F1 game, we may be your ticket. Just saying.
We're on our way to the
Just let us
FIA.
know. Yeah, we're on our way to the FIA.
We're coming for you,
yeah,
Michael.
Mike.
My
We're getting Lewis's championship, Michael.
Our first act, Stroll's kicked out of F1.
Agreed. And we're bringing Latifi back.
Yes,
Go-
Mazepin.
And
Go
Mazepin.
Latifi and Mazepin.
We're reinstating him as a U.S. citizen. I'll get with my boys at the Border Patrol and we'll get him in. The Kremlin. I do not. Whoa. I do not have any connection to the Kremlin.
Matthew's on the watch list.
Yeah.
And podcast 1 is just podcast 1. Down to 3.
The last livery that I want to talk about is Kick Money Pal. What is it? Kick?
money and the kick.
I know, I'm just messing with you. It's Kick. It's Kick something Sauber.
Catch app.
Yeah.
No, not that.
Too many sponsors, man.
No,
Steak.
It's steak.
Steak.
Kick steak
Kick steak.
or steak.
There's something
kick.
else in there, isn't there?
Kick
But
steak
the whole
ribeye.
reasoning, if you guys don't understand the reasoning behind that, is because gambling is illegal in some countries.
Saudi
So for,
Arabia.
Like, some races, then they have to change. So that's the kind of the reasoning. You'll see the switching in names.
But what I was telling
But they
Jack,
have a cool car. They have
yeah,
a cool
what
car.
I was telling Jackson when we were watching it was like, it's so nice to have, even though that color is like kind of hideous, it's nice because there's no other color near it.
I agree.
So it's like if you put all 10 cars next to each other, they all look different.
Yeah, they're distinguishable,
Yeah.
and that's where it's like we were talking about this the other day, Matthew and I, and how like the classic Silver Arrow Mercedes livery is one of my
Agreed.
favorites, just because it's very iconic.
But I was
And-
massively bummed.
But the all black is super cool too.
Yeah.
But then from a standpoint of the car standing out on track, it's like that Mercedes can blend in a lot of times with
Oh,
the Aston
agreed.
Martins and everything else. Like it's just
Especially if they aren't winning. You kind of just like,
yeah, they blend in the back.
And
Blend
P's-
in the back.
P7 for your boy Ham, and then into the wall for George.
Yeah, into the wall for George. Count out a race last year where George went straight into the wall.
that was a good move.
That's okay. It was a power move. He asserted his dominance
Yeah.
on track. The track knows he doesn't mess around.
That was terrible.
Who got the fastest lap? Was it
I think
Piastri?
it was Piastri.
Because he was running
Yes, because
softs.
he was on softs at the
He
end.
would
the
he
end.
would
So
have
that's
finished. He would have finished on the podium, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If he didn't
Had
get
the
hit by
issues.
signs.
Yeah.
Underrated or overrated, Piastri?
I think he's properly rated, honestly.
Okay,
I'd probably say underrated.
underrated.
I think he's underrated as well.
Okay.
I think the McLaren car isn't exactly where Zach Brown wants it to be, or any of the other guys obviously want it to be within the team.
From a consistency standpoint.
Consistency standpoint, it's like they have the races where they do super well. But I feel like that's kind of how it's been the past few years. I mean, even when D-Rick won the race in, was that Monza?
Yeah.
When D-Rick won in Monza 2 years ago?
3 years ago?
3
years ago.
Wasn't
2 or 3 years
2021?
ago.
21.
When D-Rick won, it was like that. Ever since then, I feel like the car is just like ups and downs, ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
So there's not really a lot of like to go off of in terms of Piastri's racing strength, is in my opinion. But he's a hell of a driver. And he's a super good dude. He's a good guy.
I will add on to that. I will say, from going from last year to this year, McLaren like kind of kept it together.
Yes.
Like the car's still pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think Piastri might have won this race in Miami if he didn't get hit. He was up there.
He has been balling. He's been a big time baller.
I still think Lando's a better racer, but
Yeah.
they're both.
But he has more years.
That's that.
You know, experience is definitely
And
key.
he races on Twitch all the time too. He gets his reps in at home.
Huge reps
Respect to
guy,
him.
which I have massive respect for.
Yeah.
Massive
We like
respect.
Lando. If Lando ever wants to race us in F1, I'll kick your ass. I'm all down for it. I'm all down for it.
That might be the most insane thing. 2 days after his first one, Jackson's just like, "Hey man, I'll hop on."
I'll hop on. I got my controller, and we'll take it.
Yeah,
And-
man, that's got full
Controller.
sim. Jackson's just over here on PlayStation
Controller.
controller.
Yeah, no, it'd be, Lando's hell of a racer. Young, I think he's,
He's already.
I think he wins 2 or 3 more races this year. And I know Sam's
25.
Sam's a big McLaren
He's 24.
guy. He's 24, so he's
Yeah.
alright.
Big movie.
So-
McLaren guy.
Yeah, we know Sam likes McLaren.
It's only because he can just go to Abercrombie and buy all the stuff that
That
they
is
put
true.
out.
He could be a fake fan.
I don't even know Abercrombie sells their stuff.
Sam
Okay.
can. Well, who am I kidding?
Yeah,
Sam
if you
can't
see
even
next
spell
week-
Abercrombie.
Yeah, next week.
Hey.
Sam's all Abercrombie.
Oh, yeah, with this Sam.
ABERCROMBIE.
Good
Is
job.
that right?
Beautiful.
You were
Beautiful.
perfect.
Just for that, we're giving you $5 free
Yep.
of betting on
Yeah.
DraftKings.
Yeah, 5 free DraftKings dollars. coming
Which,
your
if
way.
you didn't know, is our other sponsor,
DraftKings.
DraftKings Sportsbook.
Use code Racing Revelations.
Yeah, it's not going to get you anything, but try it.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
Because one day it could get you something very valuable.
Exactly. And in all honesty, DraftKings, our favorite sportsbook out of all of them.
I would agree.
And I would say
Yeah.
Sam being the most degenerate out of all of those.
Oh, totally.
Probably,
Totally agree.
again, has the most reps on
Only
sports
person
books.
I've ever met that bets on women's wiffle hockey.
He is the Lando. Us just getting reps in.
Just reps. It's
Just reps.
Start small, go big.
I will say Japanese basketball's been on fire this
I
year.
like that. I
I've
like
been on Shohei Otani's wife.
that.
She played
Hit some
basketball?
first- Oh, yeah. She's phenomenal from what I've heard.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, she's 6'8".
buckets.
She's not
buckets.
No shot.
Oh, dude. Look
They're
it up
gonna
later.
produce,
Threes. Only threes. From what I've seen.
Is she the chef? Is she
Oh.
the chef of Japan? Chef Curry of
Yeah.
Japan?
Yeah.
Same
Same color, dude. Same color.
Oh.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Going back to what were we talking about?
I don't
We're
know.
moving into
You already forgot my
We're gonna
name.
move
Yeah,
into-
yeah, we'll move it along.
Lando. How many races do you think Lando's going to win?
Oh,
this year?
that's what you said. Yeah.
I think he probably wins 2 or 3 more, I would say. But then it's going to come down to the issue of whether or not Max's car has problems, whether there's an issue or a crash on turn 1, which I'm all for. I think that
Every
makes the
race.
race.
As long as
the
he-
race
it
off, it
makes
makes
it-
it so entertaining.
Yeah, and then we go into a safety car for 45 minutes,
Oh,
so that
yeah.
kind of sucks. But if there's competition around that first corner in F1, I think that's what got a lot of people into the sport. Is like think about the
The buildup
when
is
Drive to
insane.
Survive first came out, you have Lewis competing against Max when he was robbed of the championship. But like, other than the ending result of that year, the races on a week-to-week basis were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think that's what brought a lot of people into Formula One. So it's like, if we can keep this competition up and the changes when it comes to who's winning week by week and who's getting podium finishes, I think that's where Formula One wins. I think Formula One knows that. But I think from a fan standpoint, it's just more entertaining.
Easier said than done, though.
Yes.
I will add on to that. I will say when 2 different teams have a great car, it's so much better
Yeah.
than just watching one guy. Because like if 2 guys are competing in the same car, it's like I mean, it's like a great 1-2 finish every time. I still don't like
you
that
should
much.
be finishing close. You're
Yeah,
driving
no,
the
I
same
know,
car.
but I'm saying like I think maybe over the next year or two, depending on where Newey goes, Ferrari and Red Bull could just be going at it for the next year or two.
Yeah.
And you could have Leclerc, Verstappen, who is it, Hamilton? I don't know who their fourth driver is for Red Bull yet, but
Yeah. And then
whoever that's going to be.
Oh yeah, have they locked down?
I don't think
I wouldn't be-
Sergio's
Checo?
locked down.
I don't think he is yet.
Checo's locked
Okay.
down.
I wouldn't be surprised if they resign him though.
Yeah.
They're
I
gonna
mean,
lose
He's
out
the
on
safest,
a lot
he's the
of
safest
money,
bet.
a lot of sponsor money.
Yeah, I mean Checo's another one of those guys. That's
Checo's
just a legendary driver.
Dog,
Yeah, Checo's a
dog or house cat, major dog.
Checo's a baller.
Simply-
I love Checo. I don't like Red Bull, but I love Checo.
You love Checo because why? Because he helped Lewis lose in 2021.
That's what it was.
Had to.
Yeah, thanks, Mikey.
Thanks, Mike.
And to go back to that too about Ferrari and Red Bull, I also think McLaren will be in there.
I do.
Yeah.
As long as they don't lose anybody.
And their drivers are so young, and Zach Brown is there for the long term.
Do you think Mercedes can make a comeback?
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be like one of those like
Takes
You
a
know,
while.
it's hard to say, but I would say Mercedes is gonna be like solid in that fourth spot.
So like they're gonna take like what McLaren was
Yeah,
last year.
I think
Yeah,
their competition
basically.
is McLaren.
Just be like
They're
the
gonna
best
be-
of the rest.
Yeah, they're gonna be the best of the rest. As wild as that is to
which
think.
pains me, but it is what it is, and that's the ebbs and flows of racing, and that's where it's so different from any other sport, from like basketball and football. It's like those teams can stay consistent for so long,
Yeah.
and if you have good coaches in place, and it's like, all right, you have one of the best in charge with Toto. I know a lot of people don't like Toto, but Toto's a legend in the sport, and no matter how much of a legend he is, it doesn't necessarily determine how well the team's going to perform. That's the kind of downfall for him.
The thing you have to remember too, Sam, is like McLaren has been dog shit for a long time now.
It's true.
Like they have this big name that like you were talking about, like, but they just couldn't. It wasn't like they couldn't get out of their own way, but that was also kind of it at the same time.
Yeah.
And like think of when Lando first came to McLaren. Like it was like, oh, you've got Lando, this young guy who's like doing really good in F2, and like I think did he win? Whatever.
Yeah,
Did he, I don't know if he did he win F2?
I don't know if he won F2 or
I can't
F3,
remember.
he
but
finished very high.
He
yeah.
did.
But like, and they've still just been like digging it out, and then it was like every time they'd have like a couple good races, it's this consistency thing.
Yeah.
That I think they're still
Fall
finicky with,
Yeah.
but the car is like it's almost helped that other teams have gotten worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
It's definitely,
it's
and
like
they've
they aren't
gotten
more
slightly
consistent.
better.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
It's a slow
Piastri helps. That's
Yeah,
why I
it's
asked: is he overrated or underrated?
Just
I think he's-
one.
I think he's fairly rated, but if anything, I would say he's still a little bit underrated, just because he hasn't been racing as long as Lando. So that's just me.
I could see him winning a couple races too. I think McLaren's gonna win like 3 to 4 races this year.
How many more races do we have?
which will cut the points down, and obviously for the constructors, I don't think anyone comes near catching Red Bull this year,
I think
which is okay. But I think 2 years from now, maybe that's a different story. But I think McLaren does steal some races this year.
I think it's gonna go Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, and then Mercedes.
Mercedes is going to have a hard time climbing back up to that podium because Lewis is obviously not in his prime anymore. And to have guys on, now Lewis is leaving. So who else are you going to have come in that's going to be...
It's a
I
lot.
will
Lewis
say Lewis
Hamilton.
raced really good.
Yeah.
He
This
still
last
races
weekend,
very
he wasn't
well,
bad at
but
all.
it's like you were Lewis Hamilton. Obviously still is Lewis Hamilton, but you're not... That competitive edge, I feel, has kind of grinded down.
Yeah,
And now you're with Ferrari.
yeah,
Who's going to be the next person to bring Mercedes back to the top?
yeah. Do we
George
have to
Russell.
accept the fact that how many did he win? 7.
7.
Do we have to accept the fact that like he might only win maybe one more?
He might not even win one more.
That's what I'm
it
saying.
all comes down to
But like, isn't that crazy to think about?
That's the sad,
Like he said it perfect. Came to a screeching halt.
yes, and
That
that's the
2020
sad part
killed
about
him.
F1 is if they, no matter how good of a driver it is, if that car's not right,
You're done.
they're done.
Yeah.
They're done. That's the downfall of the great sport that we all love. And
It's true. Kevin Magnussen, best driver on the grid by
yeah,
far.
best driver in the grid by far. Him and Joe Guanyu.
Yeah.
But they just can't give those guys a car. I mean,
And then-
come on.
And then
If your
Stroll,
car doesn't work, you're fine.
Yeah. What are you supposed to do?
Get a ton of penalties.
Yeah. Our
Take
boy
everyone
Yuki's
out.
in the same boat.
Drive house.
Got the coolest livery on the grid, but can't win anything.
If your
'cause
car
his car's
can't
terrible.
drive well, that first corner is your spot.
Yeah.
Take people
Take
with
people
you.
out.
Take people with
That's the
you.
strategy. That's the strategy.
That's a
Not
good way to
saying
win.
cause harm to anybody else, but like if you're gonna lose, y'all motherfuckers are losing with me.
Yeah.
We're going down.
It says we're
As a-
taking millions of dollars out of your
Yeah.
pockets.
Yeah.
That's why
Right.
Magnuson took out Sargent. He was afraid.
Yeah.
He knew he was gonna win.
With Logan?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he was quick. He was quick to it there, real fast. He was putting up lap
Dude,
numbers.
17th is pretty good.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about too on the opening lap. Sergio almost taking out
Oh, yeah.
Max. I was screaming at my TV in joy. And then he
Hit him,
just-
hit him, hit
I'm
him.
so close.
I can so
We were
see Jackson.
so close. Just go, just go, just go. No.
But
I
he does
can
this
see
every
Jackson on
week.
his
One
feet.
more week. Screaming
In
at
the
TV.
screen. In the screen. Like he's at the race on the
Yep.
corner.
Yep.
In the headset. Fucking hit him. Fucking hit him. And then he goes, no, I'm not going to hit him.
We were so close to it
That's
happening.
heartbreaking.
Sergio next week.
That's like
Or
Taylor Swift
Sergio
breaking up
two.
with Travis Kelce. Heartbreaking
Oh,
for
he
Jackson.
would. Jackson would cry.
Oh, dude.
I'm not a I'm not a Swiftie.
But you're
I'm
a
going to
Kelce
preface
fan.
that. I'm a Chiefs fan. I've been a Chiefs fan my whole life. So I don't
Jackson
want to
been
hear
in
any of
the
this.
room for weeks.
Jackson's a Swiftie stuff. That ain't me.
Jackson's also a huge fan of his other guy, Jackson Mahomes.
Do not bring him up. He's not a good guy. Love Patty, but Jackson, we don't talk about.
We have 18 more races.
18. Yeah, so Red Bull's still gonna run away with it, I think. But
I think Red Bull probably wins. Let's make predictions now. I think Red Bull wins 15 out of those 18 races.
I agree. I would say that's pretty close, and I feel like McLaren's going to be close.
Yeah,
in
if
those
some
15.
if somebody else wins more than 3, I would actually be really, really surprised.
Agreed.
I would agree.
So, as sad as that
that's
is.
a
That's
I'm gonna
the
jump in
nature
on
of the
for
sport.
the rest of the pack, but
I think Verstappen's gonna come out and win like the next 7.
I would be surprised.
Like it'll be one of those like win 7 or 8, someone else wins 1.
Yeah.
See,
And
then you
then
got
finishes
races
out
like
the rest of the
Monaco
season on
coming up
top.
soon, and it's like whoever gets first in qualifying
Yeah.
gets Monaco no
Yes.
matter what.
Monaco's
So
all
that's
qualifying.
Monaco's all qualifying, so
So
that's
who
where
knows?
someone could sneak in. I mean, look
Sure.
at even the sprint race this past weekend. You go from Daniel Ricciardo placing 3rd in the sprint race,
Love that.
3rd or 4th, yeah.
3rd for
I
Daniel
think
Ricciardo.
it was 4th.
4.
4th. Daniel placing 4th in the sprint race, and then you come into the weekend and it's just like old
Brutal.
Honey Badger's back and just non-existent.
Well,
Which is
that's
sad.
not really Honey Badger. That's more, Reno Badger. Like he used to be the Honey Badger.
It just went downhill.
Yeah.
Love D-Rick though. D-Rick's one of everyone in this room's
Do we
Bro,
think?
favorite
100%.
drivers. Awesome guy.
Do we think
He's great for
D-Rick?
Formula One.
Do we
agree.
think he should be on the grid next year?
Yes.
I think
He
I,
deserves a
I,
spot always.
I don't know if he should be, but he will be.
Yeah,
That's
that's how
the
I
answer.
feel. It's an entertainment thing.
But then
why
it
they
also
keep
comes
it
like,
on.
who are you going to put in his seat? Liam Lawson would be like the only guy I could think of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
But
picking,
they're saying Yuki might go to Aston Martin next year.
You could throw Mick in.
which is awesome.
I think, well, yeah, I'd get rid of the Canadian dude.
If you haven't figured it out by now, Sam does not like Lance Stroll.
he doesn't hate him. He just doesn't like him.
No, I
Sounds
hate
more
that
like
guy.
It sounds more like a Canadian thing.
Dude, like, walks up after
It's
the...
not the guy, it's where he's from.
I love Canadians.
Good save.
I've never met one, but I love Canadians.
Have
No.
you met anybody?
Yeah, no
No,
Dutch, no
Lance-
Canadians.
Lance Stroll's fine. He just
Dude, he walks up at the end,
He's not
and he'll be
fine.
like,
no.
and he'll be like, "Hey, it wasn't my fault that I rear-ended Danny Rick." And
Yeah.
Danny Rick's like, "Oh, okay, go fuck yourself."
Yeah, he just causes problems.
Yeah.
He's the driver. I think if I had to sum up Formula One and the types of drivers you need 2 to 3 electric ones
Agree.
that are going to finish in the top place if you give them the right car. Then you have like 3 to let's say. Then you have like
The
probably
billionaire
about
children.
15 of them that are like the guys that are middle ground, either are past their prime and can finish top 3 potentially if they get in the right car. And then you always gonna have the 2 shitters.
Oh, yeah.
And those guys are just there to wreck everyone's day. And that's
Latifi,
where
Mazepin.
you have Latifi, Mazepin,
Stroll.
They're the two guys.
Stroll. I
Stroll?
think Sonoda's not great. He's gonna scream at me.
Don't
His
hate on Yuki.
4 foot tall body's gonna scream at me.
Oh, jeez.
Sonoda's he's funny, but he is the comedy you need in those 19th, 20 spots.
Yeah.
It just provides a different type of energy, but that's how I would describe the grid. That's my description.
The sad part is he's so right in the fact of, like, you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, like he's at, K-Mag's not half bad. Like, he could finish 10th or something like that. And you're doing all the math, and then you're like, somebody's got to finish last.
Somebody's got to be 20.
Yeah.
Someone's got to go 19. And, dude, we need to put this in perspective, though. Because we're going to sit here throughout this podcast, and we're going to talk poorly about some drivers that we don't like. But
Stroll.
Stroll.
Amen.
These are some.
Amen,
Max.
brother.
But these are the top 20 drivers in the world
Yeah.
when it comes to racing.
Outside of Stroll.
These are the top 19 drivers in the world when it comes to racing.
Yeah.
These guys literally, I know it sounds
so.
so cheesy, but they were made for this.
Well, yeah.
There's 20 guys in the world that can do what they do. That's something that I think a lot of people don't appreciate about Formula One. So it's like, if you're trying to get into Formula One, think about that for a second. It's like, there's 20 people. You talk about how hard
In
it
the
is
world.
to make that roster.
7
You have
billion
20 guys.
people.
I'm gonna poke in on that. The problem for me is that I know people. It's a lot of people call it a rich person sport, and you think about it. Probably 12 of the 20 drivers were pretty much brought up in extreme amounts of wealth and trained every day of their lives. I mean, even dudes like Lando. Except I will say Lando's a fantastic driver, but I mean, like, his dad would drop millions on him to get contracts. Stroll, his dad owns the team.
That's why he's racing.
Yeah,
He's the ultimate coach's dad.
Oh,
Like-
dude.
Just like, oh yeah, I'm going to be purchasing the team. So,
Yeah.
just
But I will say,
good morning.
I will say,
Good morning.
yeah, I will say there's a
Here's
fine line.
Driver number 1.
Because there are some guys that were brought up through money that are really good. Like, I'll even say Leclerc's really good. He was brought up through money. Sainz even. Yeah. Like, those guys are really good. It's the guys that piss me off, like Stroll, that aren't even good, that get to keep their seat. Like, give it to me.
Yeah. To me. I've been
I
grinding.
was in the F1 game, man. Give me the seat.
I would love to see Sam take 8 G's to the neck.
I can do it.
Insane.
Bro.
I'll just let it happen.
Like, some of the training
Sam's
those
just
guys
built
have to
different.
do, that's one thing that you're saying, like, 20 people in the world, 7 billion people. These are the best 19 drivers in the world.
It's
I think we can give him
important,
a little.
though. It's
We'll
important.
give him a little bit of credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so
20.
let's say 19 and
Well,
a
he's
quarter.
like 21st.
Well,
19 and a quarter. but
Yeah,
19 and-
we'll give him credit because he can get the car into gear, which
Yeah.
is which I've heard is
That's
difficult.
a big step.
Yeah, which I've heard is difficult. So
Well, most of generations now don't even know how to drive
Just-
manual. So going 1 neutral 2, tough. Tough.
So
But,
this
like,
this is the we hate Stroll segment apparently.
we should do that.
And I think, honestly, yeah.
I'll give him credit. He has a podium
No, and Stroll's not a bad driver.
I
when
will-
he
when
I
he's
think
not
he
hitting
gets
other
in
people.
that- I think Stroll can get into this pattern of competing for.
Last.
Well, yeah, yes. But if Stroll gets in the
Last,
zone,
second last.
let's be honest, if any of these drivers in the top 20 are given a good car, they got the right tires, the degradation's not terrible, engine's working great, pit stops are going well. Any of those top 20 guys can finish first.
I agree.
Those drivers, if you get in that, like, I know it sounds so cheesy, but they get in that zone, they've done this their whole life.
Agreed.
If you
If
make
they
it,
have the right car,
I agree.
they can place where they want to place.
Because each guy drives their own way. Like
Oh,
if you
yeah.
if you literally spent like 2 years making a car around one guy, they kind of did that with Verstappen.
Yeah.
That car's pretty much built around Verstappen.
Yes, which is why Sergio
Struggles
doesn't
sometimes.
necessarily fare as well, because his car is
Built for Verstappen.
arguably built
Even
for Verstappen, is
what's
what
his
people
face?
say.
Albon said the same thing. Like that car's built super sharp, so like Verstappen thrives, but everyone else is like, it's almost impossible to drive like that because
Yeah.
nobody else does.
Yeah, it's not their driving style.
Can you believe that Albon used to run for Red Bull? It's kind of funny
Wow.
to think about now. It's seeing him cruise around in the Duracell battery car.
Looks like the bunny. He was walking around the pit stop with the big old fucking thong on his chest.
Hey, that was
Yeah.
real quick. That was another good livery. Was
The Golf.
Battery.
the USA one
The
for?
Golf. Is that what you're talking about? For Williams?
Oh no, that was McLaren.
Oh shit, that was McLaren.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was thinking of the
I'm tripping.
USA stripes and stars one that they did at COTA last year. Anyways,
Those were cool.
Okay, so enough talk about that. The last thing you had in here was other pro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we want to talk about if we think there's room and if the people of the internet think there's room. Don't think about it figuratively, because LeBron ain't fitting in a damn car.
No,
Shaq might
Think
though.
about it spiritually, and not spiritually. What am I trying to say? Think about it hypothetically. We're struggling for words here. I have a master's degree.
Seriously.
I have a master's degree, and I can't come up with the word.
It doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. But it's okay, Michael. We're coming for your job. But
We'll be there one day.
yeah, we'll be there, Michael. Just stay tuned. But other athletes in F1. I got a list of people in my head. I'm going to toss them out to you guys. And I know Sam has a few too that we want to kind of go through and see.
Oh,
how
you
we
guys
think they
both
did.
thought of this?
Yeah, we got a handful of guys.
All right.
This would be
They got-
interesting from our seats.
All right. Starting off,
Wait. Are we grading them on
we're grading on if they can drive a car and keep it out of the wall for one lap.
one lap?
Ooh.
And they have to go over 100 miles an
Yes,
hour?
they're doing the speeds. They're doing the right speeds.
They're doing this. No way. They're doing
Wait,
over.
wait. I'll say this: like they've been trained to like do it.
Yeah.
So it's
now
all
they
based
gotta
on
go
like
and do it.
reflexes and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff. So like not like just throwing them in a car like
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, totally.
They're
But
not
I-
as talented as like
this
we
again.
are.
This is hypothetical. And we're all-
Yeah. They're not as talented
Oh.
as I am behind the controller.
Yeah.
So we're talking about people that get in the car and race and put on helmets similar to that, which is badass. It's a cool helmet, by the way. So it's starting off, I'm going to
Shout
go
out to
Usain
Martin
Bolt.
Rose.
What?
Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt. How do you think Usain's faring?
I don't know.
He
His
may be
saying-
faster running. He may be faster running.
I would go with that take. Personally, I don't think I see him as the go fast guy. Obviously,
And
other than
coordination
running,
may not necessarily be there.
I feel like he's in 18, 17 spot. Place wise.
Oh, I'm thinking 20.
Yeah, I think he's 20.
It depends on who else you guys throw out.
Stroll.
Yeah.
No, 19th. You're right.
Anyway, you imagine Usain Bolt beating
Stroll.
Stroll. Like literally F1 Twitter would melt. They'd be
So
like,
you're
"We
saying
have to
there's
get
a
rid-"
chance.
Yeah.
Mike Gallagher would die. My brother would do that.
All right, who else?
Sam, we got
Vince Wilfork.
Vince Wilfork. I like it. The paddy wagon.
Vince Wilfork would probably finish behind Usain Bolt.
The overalls.
See, he's that 19.
I just don't
Like,
think
he could get some power around the corners though. That brother puts his body in it. He get the float action. Like, woo! He could be soaring.
Dude will just race in
Swing right into
overalls.
the wall.
Yeah.
He could race in his overalls.
He's gonna be
think about,
stole.
think of how the money they'd save on kids. Just get them decked out Wrangler overalls. And they're good.
But think about how much more gas you'd have to like put in the car.
Oh, it's
Oh yeah, and they're the limits with gas.
Yeah.
He'd probably get DQ'd every race. 'Cause his gas would be too
For him, I would be worried about he comes across as like someone who doesn't want to drive fast. Like he
Yeah.
just wants
Sunday
to
drive.
He's a Buick guy.
huge
Huge Buick guy.
huge Regal fan. Huge.
I like it. I like it.
All
All
right.
right, next one. Pau Gasol.
Oh god.
Where's
Him
he
and Fernando Alonso.
Where's he from again?
Spain.
España.
Hell of a guy.
Oh, that's funny.
One of the good.
Why
Did you
did I
meet
not
him when
think-
you met Alonso?
I did not meet him. I did not meet him when I met Fern.
They're having Jackson having tapas with Fernando.
Yeah, dude, I'd crush some toppers with Pau Gasol and Fernando. That'd be cool.
If Paul Gasol was like 3 feet shorter, then yeah.
Yeah.
Like if he was like Yuki's height, he'd probably be money.
I think, dude, those guys, those NBA players, basketball, their hand-eye coordination's crazy.
Oh, that's insane.
So I think
I
if
put
they
him-
were trained, I think he'd do better than.
I put him above
Above
the other two because I feel like he'd kind of get a little Kobe in the back of his head of like
Ooh.
you're a menace,
Yeah,
like
the
just
mob mentality. I
yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Rest in peace to the GOAT.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to the GOAT.
I do have another one. Or
Okay.
this is not really a player, but this is like the two sports that I think would thrive the most would either be baseball or hockey because of how the reaction times have to be perfect.
It's very good.
Like that's my opinion.
See,
Granted, you throw a dude like some guys are just terrible.
like David,
Like
Ortiz.
Bartolo Colon, you throw him in
Oh,
a car,
dude.
terrible.
For first corner, no brakes.
Yeah.
All gas.
Wall.
First, yeah. Like Fast and Furious, ejecto see ya. Gone.
Goodbye, see ya.
Buddy's gonna hit the treadmill for like 3 years before he touches the car.
All right, here's a baseball player. What about Clayton Kershaw?
Ooh, no chance.
Right into the wall.
No
I feel like it'd have to be like a third baseman or like a shortstop or something.
Okay.
Agreed.
So like you're thinking.
So let's say
Like somebody that can
Derek
just like
Jeter.
Derek
You
Jeter.
throw
Derek
Jeter in
Jeter
the
would
seat.
do well.
most overrated guy in the world.
Ooh.
Oh, good thing we're not a baseball.
His
podcast.
his stats were just average. Come at me, Twitter.
So it's so,
Bring it, Twitter.
hey, guess who else's stats are average? Lance Stroll.
Great take.
Oh,
I like it.
All right, last one.
Last one that I got. This one's been on the back of my head. I think he would fare probably the best out of any of the athletes we've talked about so far is Steve Nash.
Ooh.
Hand-eye coordination's off the charts.
The Nashinator.
Yeah, the Nash.
I can see it.
Yeah, green eggs and Nash.
Green
I think
eggs and
he would
mash.
kill it. His hand-eye coordination's crazy. I used to read stories about him, and he dribbled tennis balls to school. His hand-eye coordination's off the charts.
That's insane. You
That's
imagine seeing
wild.
that kid? I'd spray him with a water gun on the way to school.
Oh, yeah.
See that little
Get a load of this clown.
Hey, he's playing for the league.
Bro, the wrong sport. What are you doing?
Some fishing line across the tree, yanking
Have you
across
seen-
the driveway.
Yeah, he's great though.
Talking
I
about-
think he would fare well. I think he'd be.
His reflexes were money too.
His
He could be
reflexes are insane.
Yeah.
Him and like white chocolate would have also done
Oh,
well.
yeah.
White chocolate
Jason
on
Williams,
NBA
baby.
Passing goats. He would. I think he'd fare well.
Put
And
those
that
guys in
combination's
Aston
great.
Martin.
Yeah, throw them in Aston Martin.
Have
It's-
Stroll
So,
watch from the
I got one
stands.
more. So this as a big celebrity sports athlete, Ronaldo.
Messi's
He
better.
might be too pretty boyish.
No, he's perfect. Pretty boys all
That's
that.
that's what
That's
I was
F1
going.
right there.
F1 markets on pretty boys.
I was.
Yeah.
That's true.
Ronaldo, I think, would
They
kill it.
make their money off the prettiest
Dude,
of
Dude,
the
you can open
boys.
Instagram and like 90% of the comments are like, "I love Lando" or "I hate Stroll."
Or like
There's no
Leclerc's so cute.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
or Hamilton, when he was in his prime, dude, girls were all over that guy.
That's yeah.
Ronaldo,
Yeah, I think
with the proper
Ronaldo.
training.
Ronaldo would his
Might
hand-eye
be-
coordination's or his foot-eye coordination's great. That's a lot of pedal work there.
He
Gotta
won't-
get- you gotta
he
get
won't
that
steer.
break.
Bro, his hands are good
Be
too.
good to
He
go.
grabs a lot of people. he grabs a lot
Yeah,
of
red
people.
card. That'd be good. I'm all for
I
that.
could see it.
I like
guess.
that one. I think Steve Nash finishes above him.
Agreed,
I think
agreed.
he's got sneaky speed around the corners.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you guys know this guy, but Virgil van Dijk.
Okay,
don't know that.
explain.
He's Dutch. That's
So
all I
you
got.
do know
for
one-
that.
so you do
person.
know a Dutch person.
Here we go.
He's a soccer player. Football. I'm sorry.
From like he
We're in
plays for
America.
Amsterdam.
It could be soccer. We're in
Netherlands.
the U.S.
Or what did I say? Amsterdam.
Yeah.
He plays for
Yeah, he
Amsterdam.
plays for Amsterdam
Plays for Amsterdam.
in the red light district.
But yeah, I think overall, Miami was a great race. I think there's a lot to look forward to in the coming weeks. Obviously, we have a week off here. We'll be back this week with another podcast. If you guys enjoyed shooting the shit with us, we'll be back again. But Miami was a great race.
We're
It was
gonna-
fun to see Lando win.
Agreed.
Next episode, we're gonna
Much
do a
needed.
3.5 hour deep dive into the history of Monaco.
Ooh,
Yes.
I need to pull up and research.
I'm just-
That's not, that is not what this podcast is for.
Okay, good, because the dyslexic guy would not fare well. Fare well.
I've been chatting about that. We'll get him the audiobook
Yeah.
version.
Yeah. Hey, Audible, if you're looking for somebody to sponsor, I'm your guy.
Yeah. No, I think we're gonna take to the Miami track, and we're gonna test our speed. See who comes out in first above the other three. Here.
Above Stroll.
But I
We're gonna
would
do 5 racers. Us 4 and Lance.
Okay.
I'm crashing, dude. I'm taking him
So
out.
is Lance. So
We're gonna get torched by Lance by like a minute and a half.
let's also throw
Not
out
if I
ahead
get him
of
on
time,
turn 1.
Sam does have a partial simulator.
Why are you lying?
It's okay.
I don't have it. I just have a controller.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I'll race on controller to make it even.
Okay.
I'll still just destroy all.
Have you guys seen those little stupid like rubber thing that you
Oh, yeah.
attach to the joysticks that you just turned in?
Yeah.
It looks like a steering wheel.
It looks like I should drive with those little miniature hands that people were putting on.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
on their fingers? Yeah.
Those are badass.
So
Do we
What
want
was
to
the
do
last-
predictions for next race?
that was what I was gonna say.
Yes.
Yeah. So predictions for Monaco.
Isn't,
Is it too early to
isn't any
predict?
Mola the next race?
Oh yeah,
No.
my bad.
Yeah, it's
No,
not
you're good.
wrong.
You're good.
I think Max probably wins.
I agree.
I-
Ferrari's bringing a big upgrade. That's my.
If Ferrari's upgrades actually work and it's not a Mercedes upgrade of this past week where it's like, hey, we're bringing big upgrades and then we barely made it through qualifying, that's not what we want. But I think Ferrari is moving. in the
Leclerc's
right
out
direction.
in Q1.
Yeah, he doesn't even make it to Q1. He's done after practice or retired. I think Ferrari could put up a fight. I think Leclerc. I bet I'm going Verstappen, Leclerc, Sergio.
For
That's my top
podium?
3.
like that.
I'll go with Verstappen because I feel like him being such an ego guy, this loss against Lando is gonna fire or something up underneath him, and he's gonna watch this.
I'll take Max too, but I'll put Piastri on the podium.
I like that.
I like that.
I'm taking Charles.
I like
My
that.
boy Charles.
A little home race win for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Ferrari could use a
Home race.
yeah. Ferrari could use a Italian.
I think it's gonna go.
Agreed.
I think it's gonna go Charles, Lando, and then I'm gonna go for Verstappen.
Like that.
That would be sick.
Real.
That would be sick. This might be a recency bias thing where we're like,
Yeah,
Max
and
isn't gonna win.
then
No, Max, no, Max.
Verstappen wins by 30 seconds.
Yeah,
30
yeah.
seconds.
All right,
Fuck. Happy man.
that was it.
Yeah.
Crack
Episode
on.
1 in the books. Stay
I'm Sam.
tuned.
I'm Sam, and I'm the used car salesman selling old McLarens.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That is
Sayonara. The blizzard in the freezer is waiting for me right now.
Later, boys.
Coming from the bottom, now stepping on the neck. I've been working, I've been grinding. I need all of my respect. Get it, dollars, yen, euros. Now really cashing checks. Mezzanine is on the deck. Mezzanine is on the deck.